Sig, please.
Thanks, Jackie. Aloha, everyone. It's great seeing so many old friends in the audience here. I also noticed that when Eileen asked for the elected officials to stand up, a couple of you didn't. I noticed that Dwight Takamine, a state representative from Hilo, is here, and also Donald Ikeda, a council member who's given a lot of support to this planning process. So I wanted to recognize them and say, you can't be that shy if you're going to be in politics. You got to stand up when you're called on. So one of the things that is so great about living in Hawaii is the tremendous sense of place we have, really a sense of place and identity. We really are different, and downtown Hilo is a big aspect of that. The downtown it's really a traditional downtown. It's the kind of thing that's been eclipsed through so much of the country and even lost in much of Hawaii. Traditional downtown's been eclipsed by the shopping mall, the big box conglomerations with the gigantic parking lots. And it's something that we are so lucky to still have here. I read a lot of planning articles in my job as a planning director. And one of the things that you see around the country is that everywhere that people have a traditional downtown, they're rediscovering it. The kind of movement that we see here in Hilo to work and to build up our downtown is going on probably in every town in the country that is familiar, that is fortunate enough to still have their downtown. The people are rediscovering the values and the virtues of a downtown living. And what are those kinds of things? Well, physically, it's the sidewalks, the storefront up to the sidewalk, the public squares, the mixture of private businesses, typically unique small businesses, and public spaces. The kind of thing that you don't get in a mall where it's just one store after another and typically one chain outlet after another. So these are and what happens in that setting is that you park your car, you have to get out and walk, you're on a sidewalk, you meet people, you run into people that you know. The physical environment creates a kind of social solidarity that really helps bond people together, and it's a kind of thing that you don't get when you are you're in a parking lot of 300 cars. You walk across a parking lot to the store, dodging the traffic, and get out again. These are the kind of things that we're really that we have here in downtown, and that we're so lucky to keep working with. So I was asked to talk too about some of the challenges, and particularly from the challenges from the perspective of the county government. We've just gone through in the planning department a wave of planning that's really unprecedented on the island. We enacted a new general plan in February 2005, and then we launched on 4 community development plans that cover, at this point, North and South Kona have been passed by the council. Puna's been passed by the council, and North Kohala and South Kohala are pending at the county council. And along with this, another plan that's very important is our Envision 2025 Downtown Hilo plan, which went through the county council as a resolution a couple of years ago. It's a different kind of plan than the others. When we get into land use planning, we tend to wind up having a regulatory focus and a lot of don'ts. The Envision 2025 plan, because we knew the challenges in downtown were not so much what to prevent, but what to foster and what to encourage. So the plan has a lot of do's and, as far as I can tell, practically very, very few don'ts. And I'm very happy with this, and it's a plan that really leads us forward in a very positive way for the downtown. But the county does have a role as an enforcer of rules, which are sometimes don'ts. The rules are usually there for a good reason. The rules exist to prevent bad things from happening, and sometimes they also inhibit good things from happening. Sometimes they make sense in the context, and sometimes they're imposed in a general way that doesn't fit. So I was asked to talk about some of the rules that do cause problems sometimes for businesses and growth in downtown Hilo. Probably one of the biggest is the building department has very strict rules about building and rebuilding in the tsunami zone. Essentially, a new building has got to be built up so that the wave will pass underneath. And this is a challenge. It means that you can't build a new building in the tsunami zone that mirrors the kind of building that you have in downtown Hilo, that is like one of these storefront to sidewalk buildings. It's a kind of, so when the building that's being designed for the farmers market had to incorporate this kind of a open lower floor feature. It also applies to renovations of existing buildings, renovations of more than 50% of the building. The building's value is measured at the time the renovation starts. And this is also a major challenge, so that even interior renovations must be done slowly and spread out over time, or they fall under these kinds of new rules that essentially make it impossible to duplicate the kind of building. Now, there isn't that much we can do about this. These are requirements of the federal regulations that allow us to have flood insurance on the island. The federal government has regulations that are really intended to make you not build in flood-prone areas or to discourage you from doing so. There is an exception for historic buildings, buildings that are designated as historic structures. The Hata building is a designated historic structure, and so that's a possibility that can be explored. The other thing that is a hurdle is a planning department function, and it's called the special management area. Most of downtown, from the Mackay side of Keawe and Kilauea to the sea, is in what we call the special management area, or SMA. What this means is that new buildings and exterior renovations exceeding 125,000 need a permit from the County Planning Commission. It's another hurdle to go through. The building that's planned for the farmers market did go and passed this hurdle a few months ago. It's not something insurmountable, but it is another step in the process, and it does add time and expense. Is it absolutely necessary that the SMA extend this far? Probably not. And it's something that the planning department can look at. It does require a change in the rules of the Planning Commission.
Chris, if you could wrap up, please.
Okay.
Thank you.
And so what do we do? The 2025 plan is a terrific guide to where we go in the future. Sometimes I think what we don't need to think of any new things to do. What we got to do is go back and look at the plans that we have and try to figure out how to implement the things that are in there. There's a lifetime of projects, a lifetime of challenges in the 2025 plan, and I'd encourage everybody to pick something and get to work on it.